Let me show you something.
Okay, hey fam, welcome back to another video. Today's video we are continuing the crucial conversation series, because today's video is all about the justice for Khloe case. Okay, so I kept getting tagged in the post Tonto DK made about the Idris Ebiloma guy, and you know, my first reaction was like, wow, this is so graphic. Like, so please be warned, graphic pictures coming up. And you know, the post goes on about how he raped a 4-year-old and he has been in Kuje prison, and that he will be released on Friday, so everybody should come to court to protest against, you know, the court releasing him. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, okay, court protest, let me show up. And let me just show up and see what's going on, because I don't understand how, you know, the court will just release a guy that had raped a 4-year-old. You know, Friday I went to Human Rights Radio, I did Brekete family show. I'm gonna have a vlog coming up about that. But then anyways, after the show I now go to the court, so I was a bit late, maybe about 11ish. So by the time I got there, they had already started the trial. From one thing to another, fam. What's happening? I talk to now and find out what exactly is going on here.
This one. Yes, they're on it. They're on it now.
You know, I went to the protest under the impression that we were protests that, you know, the protest was against the release of Idris Ebiloma, the alleged rapist. But then when you get to the court, I asked a few people, well, I asked some women outside the court, you know, what were they there for?
Are you guys personally in the case or just supporting
We're
her as
supporting
well?
the girl. Personally, she goes to our school.
Really?
The girl.
Wow. Please, can I get some more information about what exactly is the issue? Because no, she was raped, but you know, what we're protesting now, they said that they gave him 3 years or.
They want to free him today.
How would they free him? What's the justification that they?
They said that. What did they say?
There is a. They want to. No, I'm not saying there is rape.
And they're not saying there is no rape. That they fingered her.
I think I must be there before. No, but fingering is rape under the background. What should you do? It's rape under the background. As long as you penetrate. Anyways, I'm not involved. You can enter. I know, but I want to have an idea of what I'm entering into, type of thing.
I think today is the final hearing. So today we determine whether they will free the man or put him in jail.
Okay. Let me just... Thank you.
In reality, what was happening in court that day was that the counsels were meant to be submitting their final written address. So what that means in law in Nigeria, you still argue by writing a document. So even if you don't do how you see it on TV, it will look like, you know, Suits and How to Get Away with Murder. Like, that isn't how court is here. You actually write down your argument on paper, and then the judge will go through that and then deliver a verdict. So when there's a verdict, that is when you know, when the matter has been scheduled for a verdict, that's when you know that, okay, there's either going to be a conviction or a release made. But then that day, so the matter was actually scheduled for adoption of written address. So that was the first red flag for me. What I had seen on social media that we were there for was not actually what we were there for. But anyways, continue just sitting down and observing. So they had applied to amend the charge to include anal penetration, which they had not done since 2016. So you can obviously see that there's a lack of diligent prosecution, and there's also a lack of diligent investigation. So now, in my interview afterwards with the mother is claiming that, you know, the prosecution has been lax and they have not taken on the evidence that she has tendered. But when I ask her what evidence exactly she has, it's those same graphic pictures that she refers to.
Because I know this is not easy for you, and I don't want to interview about the situation. I want to interview about what you feel is happening, like our justice system. You can see what is happening. Yeah. Until I gave the police, they didn't use it. The guy kept on telling me later. He said he didn't tender justice. Let my voice where my daughter was right. I should have called
Apparently the child has also said he raped her, but then when you hear the defense counsel is saying that when the child was brought into court for cross-examination and the defense counsel asked the child if she could identify Mr. Idris, the child could not.
So unfortunately, the way this case is told, you know, this is a case of rape. I will never support rape. If you see some of my posts on social media and all that, it is a case of rape. But this is a case of the defendant being persecuted. From my investigation, we learned he didn't commit the crime. This is a clear case of persecution of an accused. It can happen to anyone. It didn't happen to us. He was a cook in the nominal complainant's mother. That's the victim, public victim's mother. He was a cook in their house. And this woman usually takes boyfriend. The man is not with her. It is this when this incident allegedly occurred, 5 men. There was a DSCB guy that was brought into the house that day. Only the defendant was arrested. Even the child himself couldn't recognize him. Is this the man that did this? He said, no, I don't know him.
Wow.
I said this case is manifestly bad. They have amended their charge 3 times. A prosecution that knows you've had me in court. Because it's supposed to be a very straightforward matter.
So the investigating officer said that he was under the impression that this man was the only one that had Idris was the only one that had access to the house.
Yes, but
wow.
He said that was what he based the conclusion on, but other witnesses now said that was not the only one.
Okay.
There were 5 other men, and this man was picked. Why?
Hi.
Do you understand what's happening?
Yes, I understand.
We are women, and we never support rape in my life. But this case is bad. People should not just because we are clamoring, against it, should not, mean that innocent people should be prosecuted. It's bad.
Yeah.
There are so many people in prison today. I don't know if you have visited prison before.
Yeah.
Who are there for
innocent.
no justice.
Yeah.
And this is just a clear example of it. There is nobody saw Idris doing that hard. Nobody saw that they caught him. No. So how can you then conclude that he was the one that did it, even if it happened? How can you then conclude?
Yeah.
Because social media does not mean that that's why I tell myself to see whether things have been done rightly or wrongly. And I'm surprised from what I had, I met a different thing altogether. I have a record of proceedings here. And not only that, the woman, that is the mother of the victim, asked her, she came to my office.
And they are making it seem as if yes.
This panel looking at this will not be fine. On a one Thursday, I go as a third time until bring lawyer. Am I lying? I had to stop the fight. And when I came back, I saw you with them. And I asked you, are you you know what is a Malami? It's a
there was no penetration. And I think that the world is that even when they are victim, that's the way the world is attacking
The truth is that proper investigation has not been done. But how is that now? I'm sorry. Okay, but you know the plan. I just stay in the toilet, so can she tell you how she can describe things? She was in the witness in a house like this same lady, because it's having my daughter, this one her mouth is using big China for a 6 years.
The answers I kept getting were a bit inconclusive. If you listen to Dorothy, who is the one Dorothy Njamente, who runs the Dorothy Njamente Foundation, she says that she's the one that lobbied for the matter to get to court. But when I ask her, how do you know, this is her response.
The man's counsel is saying that the child has no recollection of the man. The child does have recollection very well. We even have a video. Did you see the video we put up online where we moved the matter from the upper area court to high court? See the way the child reacted when she cited the matter.
John, calm down. Let's go to command. We are going to calm down. Don't worry, for the one to put them in the car. Barrister John, yes.
Listen to it. This guy is here. Don't hold him. Don't take my daughter anywhere. No. Leave him. It's a police matter. Let's go to the city. Let's go. Let's go. Don't hold him as a suspect. Listen very carefully.
Which bail?
Leave him. Leave him. No, don't worry.
We are going to commissioner of police. This is their job, but that's the good. You are giving it your police. Leave it for the police. It's going to the you are your brother. You are the police. You are the brother. You are the person that left the 4-year-old girl. And you have to talk nonsense. Let her front and back. Who will support that rubbish? And you're here talking nonsense. And he's even a police officer. He's not supposed to even let somebody on board. You're talking nonsense. I will direct this man. Once you open this thing.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Just keep quiet. And we use media and destroy your
Come and sit down here.
Cancel.
Francis, sit down. Francis, sit down. Francis, sit down.
She can't even pass the country. The only thing in her mouth is like
Come down for that motion. I have the power of violence. Come down. Are you the one that said no people are raping? I know what they do. Oh, you know what they do? Are you not what he said? Are you hearing what he said? He said he's a policeman. I know what he said. He cannot take my daughter. We have closed down. The matter is closed. They are disobeying the chat.
Anyways, when I asked the mother as well that how do you know, did your daughter say it, and she says she doesn't say she said it. She said they cross-examined her. That was her response. She said they cross-examined her and confused her. So I don't know, like I did this paper about how social media and the courts of public opinion are now a form of vigilante justice, and because my motivation for studying law actually was the right to a fair trial. You know, aside from my dad being a lawyer and all, I have witnessed many incidents of jungle justice that really stuck with me, and there was one especially that really got me, and because of that, I did my master's dissertation in vigilante justice. And you know, that's just it's a culture we have in Nigeria, jungle justice. But now, instead of burning people with tires, we ruin their reputations online. And you know, I don't know, you know, after seeing all of this happen and seeing, you know, all the commotion and just the lapses at every stage, we need to be more vigilant about the vigilante justice we, you know, essentially perpetrate during social media trials. Tonto Dike is the ambassador for NAPTIP.
They are amending the charge. They granted the application to amend.
You see her turn around and ask, what did they just say? You can see that, okay, clearly she does not understand the legal proceedings. I tried to interview her and she rejected, she declined to comment because she said she's tired of bloggers. But the truth is that I really wanted to question her as to why she really came on board about this, or you know, about this case. What is it? What except those graphic pictures? And by the way, that picture of shit, you can hear her mom saying when I interviewed her that she had put a pump up her bum to help her poo.
10 p.m. that she had toilet, I have to give her a pump so that she passes to
There is the whole issue with the lapses in our prosecution of sexual related offenses. There's so many legal loopholes that people are not aware of that stand out in this Justice for Khloe case. One of the legal loopholes, as I've said, is this thing with computer generated evidence. If you watched my video about the Kosa rape scandal, how if you've been sexually assaulted, you should immediately bring out your pictures and bring out your camera or your phone and take pictures and videos. But one thing I failed to mention, which you know now stands out to me in this Justice for Khloe case, is that with a picture, everybody can question a picture in a way, because you can claim that the picture was doctored, or you can claim that, you know, there's no way to be sure of the date of the picture. That's why you now have to do the whole admissibility of computer generated. It's a whole part of the law of evidence, like. But then one thing I think with video, it's a bit harder to contest, because if in the moment, you know, the mom had videoed Khloe and also videoed Khloe saying, oh yes, it's Uncle Idris that did this, or just describing the situation, then it's easier for people to believe. The truth is that with law, evidence of a child must be corroborated, because that statement that is trending on that statement that was posted by Tonto Dike was obviously not written by a 4-year-old child. It must have been dictated and then transcribed. So there has to be something else to corroborate, you know, the evidence of a child. So if maybe she had made a video of her at the moment, or they had caught her, or they had caught him in the act, then it will be easier for the court to convict. The man was brought into court and Khloe was cross-examined and asked if she could recognize him, and she couldn't. Then it further goes to like question the evidence that they have, and the only evidence they have is the statement by Khloe. Another issue is the medical report. There are questions with the medical report, because the medical report doesn't give any indication of, like, you know, the language of the medical report is very lax. It's not like, oh, the hymen has been torn, has been ripped. Like, you know, there's an aggressive language that can be used that will make you feel like, wow, okay, there was definitely rape here. If we're saying justice for Khloe, my thing is that there needs to be proper justice. Like, there needs to be something more than just the fact that this man was the only man in the compound that proves that he committed the crime. Like, that's the thing with law. Law is not, oh, a reasonable suspicion. It has to be beyond reasonable doubt. The tenets of a fair trial is that if any allegation cannot be proved beyond reasonable doubt, then any sort of doubt is reconciled in favor of the accused. Like, the accused gets the advantage of any doubt, because convictions are not easy. And you know, you're seeing Tonto Dike's page and she's saying, oh, he has been remanded in Kuje since. He has been remanded in Kuje because nobody can satisfy his bail conditions. His bail conditions are 10 million naira. So who does he know? He was just a cook. Who does he know to stand for his bail? Who does he know that has 10 million naira that can come and stand as surety for him? So that's the only reason why he's in prison. He's not in prison because you know, it's not a bailable offense. Like, so I just feel like we need to be a bit more vigilant about the vigilante justice that we do. We need to be a bit more vigilant about the stories that we carry out online, and we need to be a bit more vigilant about our response to sexual violations and how we actually now try and press legal action, because you need, like as I said, you need to be able to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt. So that's why I said make a video, show your raw emotions, get, you know, credible evidence. That's why I said go to a government hospital and get a medical examination done. The date of that medical examination, you can see it says 26th of September 2016, and then the date of the incident is 1st of September 2016 according to the statement. So that could also be a factor, you know, if the medical examination was not done immediately, then that was negligent, because you need to do it immediately so that the damage can still be shown. I'm sure her vagina would have healed a bit by between the 1st and the 22nd, which is why the medical report just says, you know, hymen not intact, normal vulva vagina. It should have said, you know, abnormal hymen rips or something like more. You would imagine it would say something more dramatic.
From what we have, yes.
It was interesting.
Evidence. I don't know. Don't take it now.
So as much as, you know, I'm a women's rights activist, and of course I'm horrified to see the pictures like a child's vagina obviously violated, but then as I've said, the law is not horrified. The law works based on facts. So it's like, what are you really giving us to prove that Idris is the one that committed this heinous crime? Like, it's such a heinous crime, but it should be the right person that is prosecuted for it. And the truth is that the law is not emotional. The law is not going to look at those pictures and be stirred to anger and stirred to passion. The law is objective. The law is factual. The law is based on facts and based on evidence. And unfortunately, in this case, there is really not enough material evidence that links Idris to the crime. So we'll keep watching. At the end of the day, the matter was adjourned to the 14th of October for a fresh hearing, because according to the law, when the charges are amended, they now have to tender fresh evidence to, you know, corroborate those new charges. We'll stay tuned. I'm definitely going to continue following up on the matter, but I just felt like there were lessons to hear, there were lessons to learn in this case as well, and there were crucial conversations. Leave a comment letting me know what you think about the trials. Do you agree that social media trials are now kind of like a new form of vigilante justice? And what do you think about the way that the trials are being reflected on social media when you hear like the background story now? So yeah, I would really appreciate your thoughts, and please share, please like the video, please leave a comment, and please subscribe, because we have fun here, but we also, you know, discuss some very important issues that are gonna better this country and better our systems and better our people, I guess. So yeah, all right, see you guys in my next vlog.
My walk and my talk been different. My style and my thoughts been different.